Hey guys, welcome back for Cosmic Tea. Oh my gosh. Hold on, let me get my co-host, my cohort. Hold on one second. All right, we are getting set up, guys. Today's topic is so good. Olivia, I'm trying to get you on, girl. I need my gorgeous co-host. Hold on one second. Where is she at? There she is. Okay. You guys are getting me fresh for my workout. Hello. I need a shower, but we had to do Cosmic Tea first. Okay. I'm waiting for my gorgeous co-host to come on. Today we are talking about an awesome topic. And I'm hoping she will come on. There she is. There she is. Okay. Wait.
Oh my God.
Now I have to adjust. Okay.
I know that
I feel like I need to either come forward. Why is this? Why won't my stand work right now?
I don't know, but we've had some doozies before, but I think we may have just outdone ourselves.
This one was so good. Hi guys. Okay, wait. I hope I'm not making everybody really dizzy. I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna do this. Okay, so hi.
Hi.
Today we are talking about, I was just welcoming everybody in. Invite your friends. Today we're going to be talking about, hi, you look so beautiful. And hello, everyone. We're going to be talking about why we distract ourselves from the things that we really want with what I reference as delay tactics, but we're going to get into the psychology of that. And why and how and ways in which we end up doing this. I'm going to let Olivia talk for a minute as I'm adjusting this.
So, I was thinking about this a little bit, and I started to sort of dive into the, general concept of why is it that we self-sabotage the things that we want? Because it's not just distracting ourselves. I think that whether it happens in terms of career or relationship or whatever, human beings have a propensity to, on some level, want something, but really either A, doubt that it's available, or B, doubt that they're worthy of it. And whoa, the latter.
I apologize, guys. I don't know. This was completely working right before I went live. And now, and this is just technology at its finest. There.
I'm trying to keep my composure, but also have an eye on you in case I need to call 911 or.
Seriously. Okay.
I don't know. So anyway, I feel like that's the base issue, is that we self-sabotage because it's really an indecision of worth. So we say that we want the person, or that we want the job, or that we want the thing, but it's almost as though when we reach that, we have this feeling of oh shit, do I really deserve it? Or it's so good and I want it, but on the way to getting it, have I really done the work in terms of desensitizing myself and evolving into that want? Because I've certainly done that before. Or we have an idea of what something will be in our mind, and the reality is that maybe that's not the best thing for us, but that we'll either focus so intently on one thing that maybe is not the best thing or the best person for us, but we think, oh gosh, I want that because whatever reason, right? And we're missing a lot of the cues along the road to that. So that's really sort of what I wanted to offer and speak to today is, how do we, and I really want your insight on this, how do we keep up with our desire for what we want? How do we, continue to build that appetite? So I always use the analogy of creating a meal, and every experience is an ingredient in that meal. And say you want the whatever it is, mac and cheese. It's not fancy, but whatever. That's the first thing
that
came
mac and cheese is what came to mind.
No, it's really okay. So anyway, it's mac and cheese, right? Fine dining. And so on the way to that mac and cheese, we have to, and that's the ultimate, right? That's the ultimate thing that we want. That's the ultimate person or job or whatever. We have to collect the pasta. We have to collect the cheese. We have to collect the milk and the butter and all of the different elements and whatever else that you want to put in there. And every one of those ingredients is represented by an experience in which we did not have what we want, but that we built that hunger for that meal, for that experience, for that ultimate goal. And so how do we keep ourselves in alignment and you know, hungry and still building appetite for something while we're on the journey to getting that? Because I think that that's a really powerful statement in and of itself. And I think when you're passionate about something, for myself personally, I tend to not be distracted. I'm very much an all or nothing person. I'm just very black and white in that way. So I'm either like all in, or I'm like, meh, you know, couldn't be bothered. But that's just me personally. But I wanted to ask your opinion. How do we stay in alignment, and how do we keep our focus on that goal, not get distracted, and also use that in a positive way, that positive momentum towards what we want?
I love this question. And I love your analogy with mac and cheese. I mean, whenever
like,
we bring
really,
a food
Olivia,
analogy to what we're doing. So one of the things, and right now in one of my group programs, we're doing the May Face Your Fears Challenge. And I love it because I always take part in it as well. And I always take like a pulse on like what's going on in the group. And what is fascinating, because I was like, it has to be something that's making you nervous. Like you are uncomfortable. This can't just be face your fears. Like it's
like I have a fear of the dentist or whatever
out there. Yeah. Or like I have to post on social media. Like, no, it's like I made them really stretch. And I want to encourage everybody here right now, you know, if you're ready to go to that next level, what would be that thing that would make you scared? That would be like, okay, that's making me nervous. Like if I'm committing to that and I'm actually saying that I'm going to do that, I'm uncomfortable right now. So we want to get out of our comfort zone, because when you're out of your comfort zone, you know that you're really growing, but it's also scary as shit, excuse my language. And you want to be scared. So that it's good when you're so freaked out. It is scary, right? Like I'm always up leveling, and Olivia and I have talked about this. Like I was like, there's something in my own life where I'm like, okay, this is like something that I'm wanting to do. And she's like, God, just ripped the Band-Aid off. You got to go for it. I'm like, it scares me. Like I'm feeling this wall of resistance because it feels so big. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about this today is what do you do? And I want to answer your question and speak into that and give additional insight. But what do we do when that wall of resistance is so big, where it's like there's something that you're wanting, but you're just kind of like, I feel paralyzed. I don't know what to do here. Like, in theory, it sounds great, but what if it doesn't work? And that wall of resistance is based in that what if reality. And the more that we can call out our what if reality and start to actually speak into the fears, a great thing to do is either talk about it with your partner or talk about it with your friend. Like Liv and I will do this, and I'll just like, where we can say like, what is it you're really afraid of? Like let's just say you do this, then what? And right. Byron Katie really speaks into, I'm blanking on the exact name of the process, but where you're going in and you say, okay, and then what? And you just allow, you can either do this with yourself in the mirror. Okay, so you go for that, Melissa, and then what? Well, then I put myself out there. Okay, and then what? Well, what if people don't like me? Okay, what if? Okay, right. Well, then what? Are you still living? Like, did you die? Like, so we really want to understand that, like, when I say, did you die? I know it sounds extreme, but
no, I'm just thinking, like, that's what I ask my friends when they ride in the car with me. They're always like, I'll drive every time, Olivia. I'm like, did you die last time? We're still alive, right? So I was just, it's just what it made me think of. Carry on.
No, as I'm like a full-on New York City cab driver, like I legit like love driving in New York because people are crazy and it makes me feel at home. Because I don't think there should be rules on the road, period. But I don't think there should be rules in a lot of things in life, which is why I'm always creating my own. But what I was saying, and I don't mean to like go on a tangent here, but what I really want you guys to do is, one, identify what is something that you want that scares you. Understand that stretching yourself in that way, we're not meant to be comfortable. If we were all meant to be comfortable and stay comfortable, then we would just die. Like, yes, how many times can I say die today?
I'm like, there's a lot of talk of death.
I know. I'm like,
that is making me very uncomfortable.
It's very, very. But we're meant to expand. We're meant to grow. Like, you want to stretch yourself and see what you're capable of and see what you can do. So what would that stretch be for you? What would be uncomfortable? Can you commit over the next 30 days to do that? And then to speak into Liv's point, Olivia, like when she was saying that, I would ask, instead of looking at the end goal, break it down into baby steps. What is one thing that you need to do today to move yourself forward? And that's how you keep that momentum. Like for me, Olivia, like I just need to show up today. And at the end of today, check in with myself and go, did I give it my all? Like, am I proud? Did I make strides toward the things that I'm saying that I want? And if I'm not, then what was stopping me, which is usually fear. And then actually speaking into the fear and asking, like, what is that all about? Like, let's actually talk about it. Many people avoid even going there. And then it ends up being a pattern that's running on repeat, distracting their energy. And so they'll look at the end of the week and they're like, I didn't do anything towards what it was that I said that I wanted. And it's not because you don't want it. And it's not because it's not meant for you, because if you want it, if you've learned anything from Cosmic Tea, then you know if you want it, it's already meant for you and it's already done. You just need to keep aligning to it. So then you just need to go, okay, all that was happening for me was a lot of what I teach is like references called psychological delay tactics, which is allowing yourself to spin and overwhelm, telling yourself you don't know the steps, saying, I don't know this, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I don't know how. Those are all disempowering thoughts, but they're really just delay tactics keeping you in a pattern of comfort.
Absolutely. That was very eloquently put. Thank you. I mean, I really
I just spoke for like 10 minutes.
No, it was really good. It was really good. And, you know, it's so true that if you want something, it's possible. It's supposed to be yours, right? So if you believe that fundamental law of the universe, then it makes everything else so much easier. So the worst thing in the world is wanting something and feeling like you can't have it. And that's really the source of a lot of suffering, you know, of humans. But I think societally as Americans, it's really specific to us because we live in this like superlative culture of bigger, best, blah, 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 instead of just really being content and happy with what we have, which of course is the groundwork, is the baseline for how you get more, because it's an evolution, right? It's not a game where you have to beat someone. It's like everybody gets a piece of the pie. So that lack mentality really figures in a lot to things. And when we unravel the psychology of that, of what does that mean? And why do we feel like we have fear? Well, we have fear. It can be very useful, right? So it can tell us, it can alert us when something is not safe for us or when something is bad for us, or you know, that intuitive consciousness is telling us like, maybe this isn't the right, or you, again, as you said, you already know the answer, but you're trying to add in a bunch of dialogue that sort of influences it one way or the other, when in reality, if you just stood there and kind of centered yourself, you'd recognize that you already know the answer. And I think that one of the ways that we distract ourselves largely, probably the biggest way, is through fear. You know, and we will create fears that we didn't know that we had. We will create fears that we didn't even know existed. So I have clients that, you know, we'll work together and I'll say to them, they'll be like, oh, I'm taking this new medication. And I know that they can go into those rabbit holes in their mind. And I'll be like, rip up the side effects sheet. And they'll be like, what do you know, I'll be like, don't Google it. Don't look up this natural supplement. Because if that's where you focus your energy, you will create shit that doesn't exist. And I'm just as guilty of it as the next person. My mind is so powerful. If I let it spin, it is going to work, right? Your mind is going to work in a momentum sense. It can either work for you or it can work against you. And it feels really, really bad when it's working against you, because it feels like that locomotive, right? Like that Abraham Hicks analogy, where it's like that locomotive and you're like trying to move forward. I hope you enjoyed those sound effects. But you have an equal force pulling it backward. And that push-pull is probably the most disgusting feeling in the world, of like, I have all of this, but I'm pushing myself backwards as well at the same time. When if you could just sort of dismantle some of the base core beliefs, like, as you said, why am I afraid of this? Then what? Ask yourself the then what. That's one of the most powerful narratives that you can have within your own mind. So say you go, oh my gosh, I want to, you know, go for this job. but I'm afraid. Well, okay, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid that I wouldn't get it. Okay, well then what would happen? And also keeping in mind that whatever is shown to you, even if it's not your thing, even if it's not your person, even if it's not your home, and Melissa and I've been, talking a lot about like homes lately, because homes have been a lot in our energy field. If it's not the thing, the person, the house, the whatever, the circumstance, it's just symptomatic of what's on its way to you. It's just symptomatic of the universe showing you what is possible. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the thing, right? This is why we say this or something better. And things are always working out for me. And it sounds really campy and it sounds really cliche, but we are talking about hardwiring or re-hardwiring your brain, because we've grown up in a society where our brains are hardwired to, if something good happens, there's a laundry list of people around you, all very well meaning, that will be like, well, don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't get, I'm doing a lot of voices.
I love
today,
your
and I'm just like,
and the voice that just came out.
yeah, no, it's really,
So
I feel like that's a hidden talent.
It is
voiceovers.
Yeah.
It needs to say a hidden talent. Clearly it needs to say very well hidden.
So
But so people who are really well meaning, that will warn you, right? So our life has been construed for the most part as this, like, I don't want to believe too much. I don't want to hope too much, because why? Because I might not get what I want. Okay. Well, then you're creating, go back to the meal analogy, more of an appetite for what you do want. And when bad things happen that seem unexpectedly, you know what that is? That's helping you to refocus on what's really important to you. When bad things happen, which is typically our worst case scenario, it's only helping us get greater clarity and definition of what's really important to us. So take those fears, like, can encapsulate 99.9% of them in that. Get rid of them. Because even in that, it's serving us, right? It's serving us.
I love that you brought up contrast, because I really think that in the world that I just think it's so overlooked, and we easily, because so many focus on, and I will get this question often, and guys, please let us know if this is resonating, what questions you have around this. But Liv, what you just shared, it's so powerful. It's so true. There's such an emphasis always, well, things are going well. We get programmed to go, well, I don't want to get too excited because the other shoe's going to drop.
Right.
I don't want to get too excited because then this happened. I was just sharing with one of my clients yesterday. I said, honey, you're focusing so much on all the things that have gone wrong. And yes, you have been hit with many doozies this year, not discounting when challenges arise in life.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't saying, like, just to be like, oh, that's okay, because I'm going to affirm everything's working out for me, even though I'm going through, this type of my relationship falling apart, and like this money isn't, like, we're not saying that. What we're saying, though, is to not make it everything, and not to categorize it as your norm, and start to be in the expectancy of the other shoe dropping, and make that what you make your baseline, right? Your energetic minimum of, like, oh, this is what happens. When we start creating a baseline of, this is my expectancy, like, things, I'm just an unlucky person, or I'm a lucky person, or things just don't work out for me, or things do, you'll notice you'll start to create that all the time. So be very aware of the container that you're creating around yourself, and what we call those baselines for yourself. Do you consider yourself somebody that things are always working out for? If you don't, start reinforcing it now, and create a story around that. The other thing, like when we were talking about, like, contrast, and when Olivia was, like, mentioning, like, seeing when things don't work, be grateful when you notice when something isn't working. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for where I am in my life, because I no longer operate that way. I'm so grateful that just happened, because now I see how far I've come. I'm so grateful to see this contrast. I'm so grateful to have gotten sick this past week, because it's been so long that I forgot how much I appreciate my health. I'm so grateful. Like, it can be anything. I'm so grateful I gained a few pounds, because I really love, I didn't realize how strong I had gotten in my body, right? Like, or other things of that nature. So really look at that. Like when you fight with a partner, like I'm so grateful because wow, we get along so great that it's really uncomfortable when we're like not on the same page. Wow, we're really a great couple, right? Like you really want to be in that space to then celebrate what's working and really, really be clear that what isn't working is not your normal and stop owning it as such.
I love that. And one of the things that I always share with my clients and that I put in my first book and will probably be to some different verbiage in everything that I ever write is that, look, here's some guidelines for life. I'm not going to call them rules because rules pretty much suck, right? Here's some guidelines for life.
Yeah.
If I could write a letter to my former self, I would say, Olivia, you can look at life two ways, and you can always argue for your strengths or your limitations in any circumstance. Which side do you want to be on? You want to stand there and argue? You want to stand there and complain? Because all that complaining does is convince other people and yourself that you're not in control, which of course you are. You can be. Maybe you're acting like you're not, but you are in control of what you're manifesting. And the second is that there are two ways to live your life. The first, as though nothing is connected, everything is random, everything is chaotic, life is really difficult, and it's not supposed to be fun and fulfilling. The second is that everything is a miracle. Everything is connected. Every bird, every song, and I just choose to live my life the latter. I just choose to live my life as though everything is connected. I just posted the story about a woodpecker.
I know, and I love
that. I was
you and I are always looking outside. We're like, what signs? Look at the animals. Yeah.
My kids pretty much think I'm the worst because I'll be like, oh my God, what is that bird? And my son will be like, it is a pigeon, Mom. They're like, what spirit? And I'm like, okay, I'll let you have that one. But really, so I posted about this woodpecker because it was just sort of sitting and talking to whatever, right? I was just doing this sort of reciprocity exchange of energy. And I get that a lot in nature. And I wasn't really necessarily thinking about a question. I was just dumping. I was just like, these are my thoughts. These are my feelings. This is what I want next. And I just caught something out of my peripheral vision and I turned my head and there's this woodpecker just hammering against a tree. And I was like, okay. And I immediately looked it up and it was so bang on. It was like the power of words and the power of intention and the power of like, you just can do something small and it has massive repercussions. But it was my way of living as then. So again, everything's connected. Everything's a miracle. For some people, that was a bird and that's perfectly okay. But I'm going to be a happier person because that's not just a bird to me. I'm going to feel like a more connected, effective person and get more engagement and fulfillment in my life because it has meaning to me. So I'm not saying that you have to go look for woodpeckers. Although that's not the worst hobby, I'm just saying, all I'm saying is that you have to find meaning in your life. And if you don't find meaning in the small things in your life, guess what? You're never going to get it from the big things. That's it.
First off, if we just ended there, I want to give like an amen, like hallelujah. It's so true. Because just like I think you just brought us beautifully full circle to when we started off saying, what do we do when we're overwhelmed by something that we want and we're kind of feeling paralyzed with that fear and we're noticing we're distracting ourselves, right? Whether it's, I need to be the ideal weight before I can start my business or before I start dating or before I go for this, or I need to really get this job, or I need to produce this at work before I can ask for a raise. Like all of these ways in which we delay what it is that we really want instead of just owning what we want and asking for it. Owning what we want and going for it and getting out of getting caught up in the various forms of fear that show up for us that I referenced, like would be like delay tactics. And you had said so beautifully just now, and you had asked me that question of what do we do to keep that forward momentum? And I think that I'm like, I have to make sure I stay connected to what I was saying because in my head, when you just said it's having gratitude for the little things. When you have a big dream or a big goal or something that you're wanting, you have to celebrate the hell out of the journey. You have to not look at what is the end And if you've listened to anything by Jerry and Esther Hicks, or really anybody that's been successful, that's had mass success in their life in a multitude of areas, they will tell you that it was never the end result.
Never.
You're just waiting to make the certain amount of money to then think you're going to live your best life, or it's who you become in the process and the gifts along the way. And I think you just so beautifully brought that home to keeping the momentum going is celebrating the hell out of yourself and every forward step you make.
I love that. I love that. I think that was perfect. You know, it's not about the creation. It's about the act of creating. That's where the juice is. That's where the good stuff is. So today, take a moment, look around. You're grateful for. I'm not grateful that my phone is running out of battery, but but find 5 things that you're grateful for. Find 5 people that you're grateful for. People are a little bit more difficult to be grateful for sometimes, but you have to celebrate that, and you have to clap for yourself, and you have to appreciate and nourish where you are, because if you don't, you're never, even if you get to where you want to be, you're not going to enjoy it the way that you think you are. Remember, it's a meal. It's this fine dining, mac and cheese, whatever.
I love it. And now you got me really hungry. I'm like, oh my gosh. First off, I love this. And so our key takeaways, right, we're going to start with the last one that Olivia just gave so beautifully is be grateful for 5 people today and let them know. Message them, do something, give thanks for them, let them know. The next thing in Face Your Fears May, I want everybody, what is one thing, share with us, DM us, post below. What is one thing that you're afraid of, but that is on your heart, that you've been wanting, that you haven't made, that you haven't stepped into, that makes you nervous, that kind of makes you feel a little bit sick, remembering fear and excitement are on the same energetic plane. What is that one thing for you that you're going to commit to for the rest of this month, right? And then the next thing is really, really looking at what are the micro steps, what are those baby steps that you can do each day. And if fear arises, get that partner or look at yourself in the mirror and just ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Okay, so that happens. And then what? Okay, and then what? And if you're living in that what if, should space, you're in the wrong direction. So you're living in a fear-based reality. So we just want to bring it back. And on that note, we have something super exciting to share.
Yes, I was hoping that you were going to bring this up. I was like, just thinking, I'm like, is she going to say it? Yeah, so you tell it, because I feel like
you and me. Okay.
I feel like you're a better teller of things sometimes than I am.
You are such a liar, but I will do it because you're like my eloquent like fairy. I don't even know what happens when you talk. I'm just like staring at you, and I'm like, she's so good. I love my co-host, and my cohort, because we are running a retreat in Florida in May, not in May.
No, not in May.
In September. The interest is super high.
It's already like
a limited
half
number.
full.
Yeah, it's already like half full. It's kind of crazy. We mentioned it once. So we will be sending out a wait list for you guys to get on the wait list or get on the email list to receive more details about it. Those of you that are ready to commit, we will be taking deposits for those of you that are 1,000%. Like, I'm here, I'm ready. Details will come. Like I said, it is a limited number, and we're really, really excited. It's going to be a 3-day. In September, we will be sending out all of the details, so stay tuned. That is our first, and then we will be following up with another one at more of an exotic location, so stay tuned for that as well in either late 2021 or early 2022 for the second one. But the first one is in September, 3rd weekend is right now our tentative date. But like I said, more details to come. If you guys are like, yes, please, we need to know more information, DM myself or Olivia, and we will make sure that you are on the email list to get all of the details. Everything will be finalized in the next few weeks. We're so excited. So again, just DM us and let us know. Anything
And
that
as
you
we
want
said, we've just like lightly mentioned this and it's already half sold out. So this event will
It's
sell out
crazy.
for sure, for sure, for sure. But we'll get those details available. And I'm so excited. So it's
I'm
going
so
to be
excited.
in the West Palm Beach area of Florida. So it will be a really fun weekend with Melissa and myself and some other really creative, amazing practitioners for all of you boss babes, you know, female CEOs, whether you want to start your business, whether you want to build your business, whether you just want to come hang out with us and like heal, come. Red Rover,
And
Red
this is
Rover,
definitely
send you all on over.
yeah, it is a female retreat, and it's for the awakened woman ready to embody embody her desires and make them come to life. Yeah.
Sadly, no boys allowed. So
Sadly, but we love you. Still,
we do love you, but no boys allowed.
Yes. So DM us. We will see you guys every Wednesday here at Cosmic Tea. Please share with your friends. We're so just beyond grateful for the community, the following, all of the amazing comments and feedback. Any topics that you have for us, you know, Liv is a very, very gifted doctor, essentially medical medium. And I am an intuitive, and we just bring our best selves to the surface with all of the topics that you have for us. So always let us know. We're here every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Please follow us for a day in the life with us both. Anything that you need, any questions, share. We so appreciate it. Anything you have, Liv, before we sign out?
No. We're good. We're great. I'm grateful.
I love you. And I'm
I love
messaging
you.
you something that just came through for me after this. Okay. Love you guys. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.